Everyday men and women all over the world dream of wealth, yet for most it remains just that, a dream. The truth is, getting rich is not complicated. In fact, it is simple. But simple is not the same as easy, because we tend to make it harder than it needs to be. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your friend reminding you of a truth as timeless as the sunrise. Getting rich is easy, but you are making it hard. Why do I say this? Because wealth, like health, is governed by principles. If you eat nourishing foods, move your body, and rest properly, health is the natural result. If you serve others, discipline your habits, and focus your mind, wealth is the natural result. It is not a matter of luck, nor is it reserved for the chosen few. It belongs to anyone who understands and applies the laws that govern it. Here's the central truth I want you to remember. Money is not pursued, it is attracted by the person you become. Most people make the mistake of chasing money as though it were a wild animal that must be hunted down. In truth, money flows effortlessly to those who create value. It moves like water to where it is most needed and best used. If you want more money, stop chasing it. Start becoming the kind of person to whom money is drawn. How do you do that? Begin with your mind. Guard it carefully, for it is the soil in which every seed of wealth is planted. Decide with clarity exactly what you want. Wealth begins with a definite goal. Without it, you are like a ship without a rudder drifting wherever the tide takes you. But with a clear goal, you steer your life toward it with every action, every choice, every day. Next, build habits that align with that vision. Wealth does not come in a single leap. It is the result of small, repeated steps taken consistently. Set aside a portion of every dollar you earn. Read and study daily in your field until you know more than 95% of the people around you. Turn off distractions. Stop comparing yourself to others, and invest that time in improving your mind and serving others. Remember, this wealth is not built on taking, but on giving. Every fortune rests upon service. The more people you serve, and the greater the value you create for them, the more wealth will flow back to you. And here is the great paradox. People resist simplicity. They complicate wealth with excuses, with doubts, with fears. They postpone action. They spend more time worrying about failure than planning for success. But success, like a seed, will grow if you simply plant it, nurture it, and give it time. So I ask you, why make it hard? The road is straight, but you are filling it with detours. Clear the path. Think clearly. Act consistently. And trust the process. Ladies and gentlemen, wealth is simple. It is not quick, but it is certain. And it is waiting for you the moment you stop making it hard. This is your moment. Decide what you want. Begin today. Save a little, learn a little. Do a little more than is expected of you. And soon, without struggle, you will find that riches are not something you chased down, but something you attracted, simply because you became the person who deserved them. Wealth is not a mystery. It follows laws as exact as gravity. Just as gravity does not care about who you are, where you live, or what language you speak, the laws of wealth operate without bias or prejudice. They reward those who understand them and apply them consistently, and they leave behind those who ignore them. People often look at wealth as though it were a matter of luck, chance, or fate, but in truth it is nothing of the kind. It is governed by timeless principles the same way that cause and effect govern the physical universe. If you drop an object, gravity ensures it will fall. If you apply discipline, creativity, and service, wealth ensures that rewards will flow to you in due time. The difference is that while gravity works instantly, wealth operates on a delay, rewarding persistence and punishing inconsistency. The first law is clarity of purpose. Just as gravity pulls objects toward the earth, wealth is drawn toward definite goals. A man or woman who knows exactly what they want, who can describe it clearly, and who sets their sights on it, has already taken the first step toward attracting wealth. Vague desires, on the other hand, never create a strong pull. Gravity does not act selectively, it pulls on everything. But the mind, unlike gravity, only pulls what it is fixed upon. The clearer the aim, the stronger the pull of opportunity, ideas, and resources toward it. The second law is value creation. Wealth cannot exist without exchange, and exchange cannot exist without something of value being offered. The more value you provide, the more wealth flows to you, just as surely as water flows downhill. This law is simple but often ignored. Many people focus on how much money they want, rather than how much service they can give. They forget that money is only a symbol of the value they have provided to others. You can no more receive wealth without providing value than you can defy gravity by jumping and expecting not to fall. The equation is exact, and it never changes. The third law is discipline. Gravity is unchanging, and it doesn't rest. Wealth, too, responds to steady, disciplined effort. A little action repeated daily compounds over time into extraordinary results. saving a portion of income, learning something new each day, improving a skill, or serving one more person. These are small acts that accumulate into financial stability and eventually abundance. Just as a ball thrown into the air will always come back down, disciplined habits will always bring back results. The process may feel slow, but it is guaranteed. What disrupts it is not the laws themselves, but our failure to consistently apply them. The fourth law is patience. Gravity acts instantly, but wealth takes time. You cannot plant a seed today and expect to harvest tomorrow, just as you cannot become wealthy overnight. The delay between action and reward is what causes so many to give up, yet the law is absolute. Those who continue planting, watering, and tending will eventually see the harvest. The soil does not deny the farmer, it simply demands time. Wealth, too, does not deny the diligent worker, it simply asks for patience while the seeds of action grow into visible results. The fifth law is belief. Gravity never doubts itself, it simply operates. But humans carry doubt, and doubt weakens the force of wealth's attraction. If you believe in the certainty of the laws and act in accordance with them, you align yourself with their natural flow. If you resist them with fear or hesitation, you cut yourself off from their rewards. Belief is the key that keeps a person moving forward long enough for the laws to manifest their promise. Just as gravity does not fail, wealth does not fail those who honor its principles consistently, and with faith, simplicity creates results. But human nature often complicates the process. Life is filled with principles that are straightforward, yet people have a tendency to weave unnecessary complexity around them. The path to success, wealth, or personal growth is rarely complicated in design. It often involves identifying a clear goal, taking consistent action, and adjusting along the way. Still, the human mind, restless and impatient, tends to seek shortcuts, overthink, or chase distractions, making what could have been direct and simple into something tangled and difficult. We see this in every field: health, business, relationships, where the fundamentals are plain, but people wander in circles because they resist what feels too simple. In the pursuit of wealth, the formula is uncomplicated. Spend less than you earn, invest the difference wisely, create value for others, and repeat this process over time. Yet how many actually follow these steps with discipline? Instead, people complicate the process by chasing schemes, trying to outsmart proven principles, or searching endlessly for some secret shortcut that promises results without effort. The truth is that simplicity always wins, but the temptation of complication often seduces us away from it. Human beings like to believe that complexity equals importance, so they dismiss simple truths as too easy or too obvious, never realizing that the extraordinary is often built upon the ordinary. Done consistently in personal growth, the same pattern appears. Simplicity says read good books, apply what you learn, surround yourself with people who uplift you, and keep refining yourself daily. Yet most complicate growth by waiting for motivation, questioning whether they are ready, or jumping from one trend to another without ever committing to one course of action. They want dramatic change overnight instead of steady, incremental progress. Simplicity whispers that small daily improvements compound into greatness, but human nature wants noise, excitement, and novelty, leading to confusion rather than clarity. The discipline of health is another example. The rules are plain: eat nourishing food, move your body, rest well, and avoid harmful substances. Simplicity guarantees results. Yet human nature creates complication through fad diets, miracle pills, conflicting opinions, and endless experimentation. The core never changes, but distraction makes people ignore it. The simple path is always available, but the complicated path is more attractive to the restless mind. Even if it leads to frustration, simplicity requires humility. It demands that we trust the process rather than constantly reinvent it. It asks us to follow through on what we already know instead of endlessly searching for something new. Human nature resists this because it craves novelty and avoids discipline. Complication feels more sophisticated, more important, but it robs us of progress. Simplicity, though quiet and unglamorous, steadily produces results. It is the straight line between where we are and where we want to be. But human nature insists on wandering in circles, convinced that the harder path must somehow hold the real answer. Success begins in the mind, long before it shows in the bank account. Every achievement we see in the outer world first took root as a thought, an idea, a vision within someone's imagination. The skyscraper was once a sketch on paper, the business empire once a single daring thought, the fortune once a quiet belief in the possibility of creating something valuable. The bank account is nothing more than a reflection, a delayed mirror image of the inner state of a person's mind. If the mind is disciplined, purposeful, and directed, The results that eventually appear in the world will reflect those qualities. If the mind is scattered, doubtful, and unfocused, the outer world will carry the same disorder. The reason so few attain lasting success is because they try to reverse this process. They want the external proof first, before they commit to the internal discipline. They look for the money before they develop the mindset, forgetting that money is a servant, not a master, and it only flows to those prepared to handle it. The wealthy man is wealthy not because of the dollars in his possession, but because of the thinking patterns that attracted and sustained those dollars. If you were to take away his wealth but leave him his mind, he could build it again. If you were to give a fortune to a person without the right thinking, it would soon vanish. Success is not stored in the bank. It is stored in the mind of the person who created it. Thoughts act as the blueprint. A builder does not begin construction without a design, and neither does life create wealth without a clear mental picture. The mind holds the power to imagine, to design, to plan, and to organize. That picture, repeated often, influences behavior, decisions, and habits, which in turn lead to results. If the mental blueprint is small, the results will be small. If the mental blueprint is expansive, disciplined, and persistent, the results will eventually match it in size and scope. The seed of every fortune is first an idea held with conviction and nurtured by persistent thought. Belief is the foundation of this law. A person must believe they are capable of wealth before they ever see evidence of it. This belief fuels action, and action sustained over time creates results. Doubt, on the other hand, paralyzes. If the mind is filled with hesitation and fear, it will never command the consistent effort required to create success. Just as a farmer must trust the seed will grow before he sees the harvest, so must a man or woman trust their vision before the bank account reflects it. The invisible always comes before the visible. Habits of thought lead to habits of action. The person who thinks abundance begins to act with responsibility, with creativity, with persistence. The person who thinks scarcity makes choices from fear, hesitation, and short-term comfort. The mind shapes the hand, and the hand shapes the outcome. Long before a single dollar appears, success is already written in the thinking patterns that guide daily behavior. Most people chase wealth instead of building the person who attracts it. They imagine money as something out there to be hunted down, pursued, and captured, when in truth wealth is the byproduct of who we become. Money flows like water to value, and value is created by character, skill, knowledge, and persistence. When people fix their eyes solely on the prize, they forget to cultivate the qualities that make them deserving of it. They run after opportunities, they jump from one scheme to another, they grow frustrated when results don't come quickly, never realizing that their outer lack reflects their inner unpreparedness. Chasing wealth without growth is like planting seeds in barren soil. No matter how much effort is applied, no harvest can come from soil that has not been tilled, nourished, and prepared. The person who builds himself through discipline, through education, through character, becomes the fertile ground in which wealth naturally takes root. Instead of chasing opportunities, opportunities begin to chase him. Instead of begging for doors to open, doors swing wide because his presence itself carries value. Wealth is never a destination reached by force. It is a magnet drawn toward the individual who has built the capacity to hold it. This is why fortunes gained without self-development rarely last. Lottery winners often lose everything within a few years because they received wealth without becoming the kind of person who could manage, grow, and preserve it. The outer gain exceeded the inner capacity. On the other hand, history shows countless examples of people who started with nothing, built themselves into disciplined, knowledgeable, service-oriented individuals, and in time wealth flowed to them almost as a natural consequence. The difference is not in the economy, the environment, or the times, but in the person themselves. Building the person who attracts wealth begins with the mind. One must develop clarity of purpose, the ability to focus, and the discipline to stay the course. It requires study, learning skills that solve real problems, reading books that expand perspective, listening to mentors who have walked the path. It demands integrity because trust is currency, and no true wealth is built on deception. It calls for persistence because life will test the seriousness of one's intention. These qualities together form a foundation strong enough to support the weight of wealth. Chasing wealth without these qualities is like constructing a skyscraper on sand. It may rise quickly, but it will crumble just as fast. Building the person is slower, quieter, less glamorous in the beginning, but it creates a structure that can endure storms and grow taller with time. The one who builds himself becomes irreplaceable in any field, and money flows to him as naturally as gravity pulls an object to the ground. When you focus on becoming more disciplined, more skilled, more valuable, the chase ends. Wealth no longer feels distant or elusive, because it is not something to run after, but something that arrives as a reflection of the person you have built yourself to be. Clear goals are the compass. Without them, people drift aimlessly. A ship without a compass is at the mercy of the winds and the tides, tossed from one direction to another with no certainty of ever reaching a safe harbor. In the same way, a life without clear goals is subject to the random pulls of circumstances, distractions, and other people's agendas. Goals give direction, purpose, and clarity. They tell us not only where to go but also what to ignore. Without them, time and energy scatter in every direction, accomplishing little. With them, every effort aligns, every step gains meaning, and progress becomes measurable. When a person sets a clear goal, the mind organizes itself around it. The subconscious begins to filter opportunities, ideas, and information that move in the direction of the objective. What once seemed random starts to connect, because the mind now has a target to focus on. This is not magic, but simply the natural way the human brain works. Just as a compass needle always points north regardless of conditions, a clearly defined goal provides orientation no matter what distractions arise. It allows a person to say yes to what contributes and no to what detracts, creating momentum rather than confusion. People without goals tend to live reactively. They respond to circumstances instead of shaping them. They drift from one job to another, one project to another, one idea to another, never staying long enough to create mastery or results. Their energy may be abundant, but without direction it is wasted. This is why two people can work equally hard, yet one builds a fortune while the other barely gets by. The difference is not effort but clarity. Hard work without a goal is like rowing without a destination. You expend energy but never arrive anywhere meaningful. Clear goals also provide motivation. When the road gets difficult, as it always does, a defined goal gives reason to persist. Without a goal, setbacks feel final, but with a goal, they are simply obstacles on the path forward. A goal creates vision, and vision creates endurance. It is not enough to simply wish for a better life. One must define what that better life looks like. How much income, what kind of lifestyle, what kind of contribution, what kind of growth? Vague desires create vague results, while precise goals create precise outcomes. Furthermore, goals measure progress. A traveler with a compass knows whether they are closer or farther from their destination. A person with goals can evaluate decisions, measure growth, and celebrate milestones along the way. Without goals, every day feels the same, blending into a cycle of repetition with no clear sense of advancement. But with goals, even small steps feel meaningful, because they are part of a larger journey. A clear goal acts as both guide and guard. It directs energy toward what matters and protects from what does not. It sharpens focus, disciplines effort, and transforms daily actions into building blocks of achievement. Without it, people drift aimlessly, caught in motion but never in progress, moving constantly but arriving nowhere. Small, consistent actions multiply into extraordinary results over time. Just as a single drop of water seems insignificant, yet given enough time can carve valleys through solid rock. The smallest of actions, when repeated faithfully, create changes far beyond what their size suggests. People often underestimate the power of consistency because the effects are invisible in the beginning. A single workout does not transform the body, a single book does not expand the mind, a single dollar saved does not build wealth. But when these actions are repeated daily, compounded over months and years, the transformation becomes undeniable. The extraordinary is never born from sudden bursts of effort, but from steady persistence applied to simple actions. Consider the principle of compound interest. It does not reward dramatic deposits made once, but steady contributions made consistently. A small amount added faithfully grows into something remarkable, not because of the size of each contribution, but because of the persistence behind them. The same law governs every area of life. Knowledge compounds when we study a little every day. Strength compounds when we exercise regularly. Relationships deepen when we invest consistent time and attention. Each small act builds upon the last until what once seemed impossible is achieved. The challenge is that human nature often dismisses small actions. People crave immediate results, dramatic changes, and quick transformations. They underestimate what can be accomplished in 5 years, but overestimate what can be done in 5 days. When results do not appear quickly, they give up, forgetting that growth is invisible at first, like the roots of a tree spreading silently underground before any branches reach the sky. The person who understands the power of consistency does not become impatient. They trust the process, knowing that invisible progress is still progress. Greatness is not built in sudden leaps, but in daily steps. A writer produces a book not in a weekend of inspiration, but in the quiet habit of writing a little each day. An athlete achieves mastery not through one heroic training session, but through countless hours of practice. A fortune is not accumulated in one bold decision, but in thousands of disciplined financial choices. Extraordinary results are simply the visible evidence of ordinary actions repeated without fail. Success belongs not to those who work the hardest in short bursts, but to those who work steadily in the same direction over long periods. Small, consistent actions also build identity. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you reinforce the belief that you are a person capable of success. Each repetition strengthens not only results but character. You begin to trust yourself, and self-trust becomes the foundation for bigger risks and greater rewards. This is why consistency is more powerful than intensity. It creates habits, and habits create destiny. Over time, the small acts you once dismissed accumulate into extraordinary results that seem almost effortless, yet they are nothing more than the natural harvest of seeds sown consistently over time. Fear, doubt, and procrastination are the true enemies, not lack of opportunity. Opportunities surround us every day, often in more abundance than we realize, but the mind blinded by fear does not see them, the heart weighed down by doubt does not pursue them, and the will shackled by procrastination does not act on them. People believe they are held back by circumstances, lack of connections, or unfavorable timing, but the truth is that opportunity rarely announces itself loudly. It whispers, appearing in the form of small chances, ideas, or responsibilities, and only those free from the chains of fear, doubt, and delay are able to seize it. Fear paralyzes action. It magnifies risks and minimizes possibilities, convincing us that every step forward will lead to failure or ridicule. Fear is rarely based on reality but on imagination, yet it is powerful enough to keep people from ever discovering what they are capable of. How many ideas have died unborn because someone feared rejection? How many dreams have been buried because someone feared criticism? Fear creates comfort zones, and while comfort may feel safe, it quietly robs a person of growth and achievement. The opportunity is there, but fear blinds the eyes and freezes the hands. Doubt is just as dangerous, though more subtle. Doubt whispers that we are not ready, not worthy, not capable, and its voice often grows louder the closer we get to real opportunity. Unlike fear, which shouts of danger, doubt questions silently, asking what if you fail, or what if you are not good enough? This quiet erosion of confidence keeps many from even beginning. Doubt destroys more dreams than failure ever could, because failure at least comes after action, while doubt prevents action altogether. A person who doubts their own ability overlooks the truth that no one begins perfectly prepared. Confidence grows only after movement, never before it. Procrastination is the final enemy, disguising itself as patience or planning. It says, "I will start tomorrow," or "I'll act when the time is right." But tomorrow never comes, and the perfect time never arrives. Procrastination robs us not with force but with delay, draining the energy of possibility one postponed decision at a time. Opportunities do not wait forever. They pass by those who hesitate and move swiftly toward those who act. The tragedy of procrastination is that it creates a lifetime of almosts, almost starting, almost trying, almost succeeding, yet never reaching the fulfillment of potential. When fear, doubt, and procrastination dominate, opportunity becomes invisible, even though it surrounds us. History is filled with examples of ordinary people who achieved extraordinary things not because they had more opportunity, but because they conquered these inner enemies. They acted while others hesitated, believed while others doubted, persisted while others froze in fear. The external world offers chances, but it is the internal world that decides whether those chances are embraced or ignored. The battlefield of success is not out there but within, and the victory belongs to the one who overcomes fear, silences doubt, and refuses to procrastinate. Service to others is the doorway through which all wealth enters. Every fortune, whether great or small, rests on the foundation of service. Money is nothing more than a symbol of the value exchanged between people, and that value is always created through meeting a need, solving a problem, or providing a benefit to others. The wealthiest individuals in history, from industrial pioneers to modern innovators, did not gain their riches by taking from others but by serving them on a larger scale. The baker serves bread, the teacher serves knowledge, the builder serves shelter, the entrepreneur serves convenience or innovation, and in return society rewards them with money proportionate to the value they have created. This truth is often overlooked because many approach wealth with a mindset of taking rather than giving. They think in terms of how much they can earn rather than how much they can serve. Yet money cannot be pursued directly, because money itself has no life. It is a shadow that follows service. When you focus solely on the shadow, it disappears. When you focus on the source, on serving others, the shadow follows naturally. This is why those who selfishly chase money without first creating value find themselves frustrated, while those who serve diligently, with creativity and excellence, discover that wealth flows to them almost effortlessly. Service does not have to be grand in scale to create wealth. A small business owner who treats each customer with care is practicing the very principle that builds fortunes. A craftsman who takes pride in delivering quality, a professional who goes beyond what is expected, or an innovator who makes life easier for others is all serving in a way that attracts prosperity. The level of wealth is directly related to the scale and quality of service. The more people served or the greater the need fulfilled, the larger the flow of wealth. The formula is exact: serve more, earn more. The beauty of this law is that it creates fairness. Anyone, regardless of background or circumstance, can begin to serve others in some meaningful way. It does not require permission, privilege, or luck. It requires only the willingness to see a need and meet it. The farmer serving his community with food, the writer serving with ideas, the inventor serving with innovation, all participate in the same universal law. Service is the great equalizer, opening the doorway of wealth to anyone willing to walk through it. Service also ensures that wealth gained is sustainable. Riches acquired without service, through exploitation, manipulation, or shortcuts, rarely last, for they lack the foundation that society supports. True wealth endures because it is built on trust, goodwill, and repeated exchanges of value. The person who serves consistently builds not only income but reputation, relationships, and opportunities, which in turn expand wealth even further. Service is not just the doorway to wealth, it is the path that keeps it open, ensuring that what is gained continues to grow through ongoing contributions to others. Discipline and patience are more valuable than luck. Luck is fleeting, unpredictable, and beyond anyone's control, while discipline and patience are steady forces that can be cultivated, mastered, and relied upon. Many people spend their lives waiting for luck to strike, hoping for a sudden breakthrough, a windfall, or a fortunate chance to change their circumstances. Yet the most successful individuals are not those who depended on chance, but those who built themselves into people capable of creating and sustaining success regardless of external conditions. Luck may open a door once, but discipline and patience ensure that you can walk through it, stay inside, and build something lasting. Discipline is the ability to control actions, emotions, and impulses in the service of a higher goal. It is waking up early to pursue a vision when sleep would be easier, saving money when spending is tempting, practicing skills daily when results feel far away. Discipline transforms intention into action and action into results. Without it, opportunities slip away because there is no consistency to capitalize on them. Even if luck arrives without discipline, it is squandered. A person who wins a fortune without discipline quickly loses it. A person who gains recognition without discipline soon fades into obscurity. Discipline is the engine that keeps progress moving. No matter how slow or difficult the journey becomes, patience complements discipline by providing endurance over time. Progress rarely comes instantly, and results are not immediate. Just as a seed takes time to sprout and grow, success requires seasons of waiting, nurturing, and persistence. Impatience is the reason many abandon their goals too soon. They want results now, and when they do not see them, they lose faith in the process. Patience is the wisdom to trust that steady effort, when combined with time, will eventually yield results. It is the ability to remain calm and committed when others grow restless and give up. Those who master patience understand that time is an ally, not an enemy, and that great things cannot be rushed together. Discipline and patience create a force far stronger than luck. They guarantee progress in any field because they operate under universal laws of cause and effect. Luck is an event, but discipline and patience are habits. Habits compound, shaping character and destiny. A disciplined person who is patient becomes unstoppable because they will continue long after others have quit, and they will stay the course until results appear. Fortune may smile once on the lucky, but it continually favors the disciplined and patient, because they are prepared to act when opportunity arrives and persistent enough to endure the time it takes for rewards to grow. Every lasting achievement in history, every fortune built, every innovation discovered, and every dream fulfilled has been the result not of chance but of men and women who practiced discipline in their daily actions and patience in their expectations, proving that these qualities are more valuable than luck. Getting rich is easy when you stop resisting the principles that create wealth. Wealth itself is not complicated, nor is it reserved for a select few. It is governed by timeless principles: discipline, value creation, patience, consistency, and service that operate like natural laws. Just as gravity pulls objects toward the earth without prejudice, these principles pull opportunity and prosperity toward those who follow them faithfully. The problem is not that the path to wealth is hidden or impossible, but that people resist it. They ignore the basics, chase shortcuts, or allow fear and impatience to cloud their judgment, making what is simple appear difficult. The first resistance is neglecting discipline. Wealth grows through consistent, deliberate action, saving a portion of income, investing wisely, and resisting unnecessary spending. Yet many resist these simple acts, convincing themselves that wealth requires complicated strategies or sudden windfalls. They look for luck instead of law, forgetting that discipline is the true foundation of financial freedom. The principle is clear: control what you earn, direct what you save, and grow what you invest. The more you resist this, the harder wealth becomes. The more you embrace it, the easier it feels. Another resistance lies in the refusal to serve. All wealth flows through the channel of service to others, yet many people focus only on what they can get instead of what they can give. They chase money directly rather than asking, how can I add value? How can I solve a problem? When service is ignored, wealth becomes elusive, because money is only a symbol of value provided. Those who resist service remain stuck, while those who embrace it attract opportunity naturally. The principle never fails: wealth enters through service, and the more you serve, the greater the flow of money into your life. Patience is also resisted. People want results immediately, so they abandon the very practices that guarantee wealth. They stop saving when progress feels slow, stop building skills when rewards are delayed, stop investing when markets fluctuate. Yet wealth requires time, just as surely as a harvest requires seasons. Resisting patience is like pulling up a seed to see if it has sprouted. You only kill what you planted. Embracing patience allows compounding to work in your favor, turning small efforts into extraordinary results. Over time, fear and doubt create another form of resistance. Many hesitate to take opportunities because they fear failure, doubt their abilities, or procrastinate until chances pass them by. The principles of wealth demand courage, faith, and action, but resistance turns them into hesitation, excuses, and inaction. Fear resists growth, but courage aligns with it. The moment a person chooses belief over doubt and action over procrastination, they align themselves with the flow of wealth. Getting rich is not a matter of genius, luck, or secret knowledge. It is a matter of alignment. When you stop resisting the principles, when you accept discipline, embrace service, practice patience, and move with courage, you find that wealth was never far away. It was simply waiting for you to stop standing in your own way. Wealth is not complicated, nor is it reserved for the few. It is a natural outcome of living in harmony with timeless principles. We have seen that wealth follows laws as exact as gravity, that simplicity creates results while complication destroys them, that success begins in the mind long before it shows in the bank account, and that most people fail not because opportunities are lacking, but because they chase money instead of building the person who attracts it. Clear goals provide direction. Small, consistent actions compound into greatness, and fear, doubt, and procrastination remain the only true enemies standing in the way. Service to others opens the doorway to all lasting riches, while discipline and patience outweigh any stroke of luck. And at last, the truth becomes clear. Getting rich is easy when we stop resisting the principles that create wealth. Wealth is not a mystery. It is a reflection of who you become and how faithfully you live by these laws. Your future does not depend on chance, but on choice. The compass is in your hands, the path is under your feet, and the principles are eternal. Align yourself with them, act upon them daily, and wealth will flow to you as surely as night follows day. So start now. Write down your goal. Take the first small step toward it today. Don't wait for the perfect time, because it will never come. Wealth, like life itself, belongs to the man or woman who begins.